สวัสดีครับ Greeting from Bangkok once again Kasit Piromya at the beginning of the month of November 2025. There have been so many happenings around the world and especially in the Asia Pacific region with the ASEAN leaders meeting in Kuala Lumpur, the meeting of the Asia Pacific Economic Cooperation APEC in South Korea, and quite a few summit meetings between world leaders, especially President Donald Trump and President Xi of China, and the new Prime Minister of Japan, and the relatively new President of South Korea. So a lot of diplomatic activities reflecting that world leaders are still recoursing to peaceful negotiation to overcome their differences, their cutthroat competition and their conflicts. So in that sense, why not for the Ukrainians and for the Russians to turn to the negotiating, to return to the negotiating table? And concurrently, the other European powers, members of the European Union, why don't they also talk to the Russian counterpart in Moscow to talk about the future partnership of Western Europe and the Russian Federation for peace, for common prosperity? The Ukraine-Russia conflict has been going on for 4 years with no end in sight, but many losses, especially to the lives and to the properties of Ukraine, and to a lesser extent of the Russian people. Wars are not solution, but peaceful negotiations are needed because we are the intelligent beings. We should not only recourse to the use of force, but we should use our intellectual capacity, the humanist element of mankind, to overcome problems and differences and so on. And why not? It does not beyond the human capacity to forge a compromise, to accept each other's terms and conditions, and to respectively restrain themselves. The Russian proposal or conditions for the end to the conflict between Ukraine and Russia, I think have 3 major points. One, the neutrality of Ukraine. Second, no more attempt to become a new member of the NATO organization. And third, to accept the fact that Russia has taken over about 18% of Ukraine land, which is populated by the ethnic Russians and not by the ethnic Ukrainians, as a fait accompli, in order to arrive at a peaceful settlement and cordial neighborly relationship between the two countries. Ukraine might not be able to decide alone because it has been depending on many of the European powers as well as the United States. But 4 years of losses and futures that look so dim, isn't it about time that the Ukrainian leadership, the European leadership, and the Russian leadership start thinking about peacemaking? And to do so, they need to have a dialogue. They need to come to the negotiating table, forge a compromise, rebuild the partnership, and obtain a common prosperity altogether. We are the intelligent beings, and we have to use our intelligence to the best of our ability. Thank you very much. ขอบคุณมากครับ